What if we told you that the Disney Galactic Star Cruiser Star Wars Hotel in Orlando is still losing millions of dollars for the House of Mouse? You might say, I don't know about that, Pro. How could that possibly be? The thing's been shut down for years. Well, it's time for tears at Disney because, folks, we've got the receipts. They're losing millions on a hotel that has only been great at vacancies. A long, long time ago on a YouTube channel not so far away, it's, well, this one that you've clicked on, folks, we found out some info and we just have to bring it your way. Are you ready for this? Let's get ready for this. Let's talk about the long defunct Star Wars hotel that is getting really funky when it comes to how much money Disney pays. That's right. Even up until this day, really and truly. Get ready, like, share, subscribe, drop a comment down below. And folks, let's go, go, go. Back to a hotel that's been closed longer than it was open. Yep, it's time to take a trip over to the Walt Disney World experience. Out of Blog Mickey, Walt Disney World sues the government because that, well, it always goes well for them, over billions of dollars in contested property taxes. Now, you might look at this headline and you might say, well, okay, it's a story about Disney suing the government and we know what that's going to be about and we've seen this play out and Disney's going to lose. And it's like, yeah, that's probably true. Oh no, folks, we found something here. We've learned something, as they say at the end of so many South Park episodes. We've learned something today. Can we share it with you? Would you like to see it? Come our way. Here we go. Walt Disney World has continued the tradition of suing the Orange County property appraiser over what it claims are excessively high assessments of a number of properties around the resort complex. Walt Disney World has been filing these lawsuits for years. And while a number of the lawsuits over the years continue to move through the court system, aka they haven't worked, Walt Disney World has had some significant victories over the years as well. Sure. Tell us about them. I don't see them. Here's a look at the current lawsuits filed along with some context on Disney's wins in the past. Get ready, folks, because what we really want is inside these documents. Let's scroll on down. Here are the estimated values and the taxes paid on said estimated values within Walt Disney World Resort. Magic Kingdom has an estimated value of $633 million. Frankly, I think that's a little bit low. Disney disagrees, thinks it should be lower. And the taxes they paid on it, $16 million. Epcot is estimated at a whopping $806 million, $20 million paid in taxes. That Spaceship Earth must be not only big in girth when it comes to physical size, but in the estimated value of the ball. Disney Hollywood Studios, $639. Disney's Animal Kingdom, $494. Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon, much teenier, much tinier as little water parks because they don't have as many structures, and that's what's being measured. Blizzard Beach only at 72, Typhoon Lagoon at 53. But what if I told you, ladies and gentlemen, that down here is our friend, our darling, the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, and it's not all by itself because it also has the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser site. Ladies and gentlemen, the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser has, look at this, cost Disney in the past year $1.1 million in taxes for a bunker to nowhere because it absolutely did not pay off. Disney is still paying millions of dollars on this insane hotel that was based on the Rian Johnson Last Jedi experience. Hey, everybody, go hang out with Rey after The Last Jedi. That'll be great. Lauren, they're losing millions on this thing still today. They probably don't want us to know that, but the tax documents are out, and now we know it's true. It's sitting there vacant. They're going to try to put Imagineers in there, but this is continuing to be a colossal mistake for Disney. Your thoughts on the idea that it's still costing them money even to this day?
Well, it would be anyway. It is real property, and you're going to be taxed on it. I think that they could argue that the property is devalued because it's not really being used as a revenue-generating attraction, but it's still valuable and it's going to be taxed. There's no way around that.
Absolutely. What went wrong with it, though, Lauren? Why did it fail so? Why is it still costing them today?
Well, I mean, there's the sunk cost into developing the attraction that they already had to shutter, obviously. There's the loss in reputation. They chose to model in their parks the wrong era because they thought that their sequel trilogy was going to be everything that was going forward, and the audience rejected it. It would have been a lot safer to build based off of a proven property. The original trilogies were proven. Whether you wanted your own attractions to be the big thing going forward or not, you knew that the existing properties were making money hand over fist until Disney got a hold of them. So this is very much a loading your shotgun and aiming it at your feet kind of a situation.
This is also the kind of thing, Marvin, where a lot of people think that it's over. They, once it was closed down, that was the end of it. Mm-hmm. But it's still sitting there. It still has to be maintained. Well, taxes still have to be paid, and it's in the millions of dollars.
It's being developed right now. I mean, they took a tax break on the property, I think, when they shuttered the resort, but now they are repurposing it into Imagineering offices. So it is going to be, still something that they're using for the benefit of the company. So absolutely, they should be taxed on it. But it's not the problem is that offices are not going to offset the cost of those taxes on that prime piece of land the way that a large scale hotel and resort would have done. The problem with that hotel, I mean, we've talked about it to death, but I'll reiterate my point, is that it was so immersive that it was constrictive. There was no pool. There was no, like regular food court to go to. You couldn't just leave and come back or get Uber Eats delivered in the middle of the night if you wanted to. You were trapped in that place, essentially. You were trapped within the confines of that story. And that's not a thing. Nobody wants to give up 2 days of their Disney trip to LARP with Ray.
Yeah, I don't think that LARPing with Ray was a great way to make money, obviously. And the crazy thing about this, Jonas, is that had they only made this be about Luke and Darth Vader and Yoda and all of that, it would probably still be at capacity today. People would still be staying at the Star Wars Galactic Hotel, and instead Disney's losing millions because they refuse to let go of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, there was nothing about the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser that said Star Wars. They had the Empire showing up, and that's about it. They had Chewbacca and they had R2. Well, did they have R2-D2? I'm not sure that they did. But most people are not really living out their Star Wars fantasies by going into a hotel, and it's the rich people in Star Wars, which you never see those in any of the original Star Wars, or it's the pop stars in Star Wars, which, I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. No one cares what Beyonce would be like in Star Wars. They might playfully listen to the guy who's playing in the dive bars, the cantina bands, and whatever's going on in Jabba's palace. They do not care what the rich people live like in Star Wars, because those aren't the heroes of the story. So it was a conflicting concept from start to finish. They wanted something like a cruise, which Disney does cruises well. They wanted to price it like a cruise, but not put a cruise at sea. The other thing about cruises is that you get to leave and do expeditions, and those are pretty much on you. With this, all you had was something that costs 2 to 3 times what a Disney pass for the entire year cost, and only lasted a couple of days. So it was an item that people with more money than taste would do. Speaking
of that, I'd like to read from this purported cast member, and there are enough details here that I believe this is a legitimate story, but you never know. But this is off of Reddit, and it's a former cast member talking about the experience of trying to find a way to make people happy when they got to the Star Wars hotel and they discovered just how crappy it really was. Sorry to the influencers out there who told them otherwise. Here's a part of that report. I just want everybody to enjoy this. This is how we arrive at a moment like today, where the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser is being converted into an Imagineering bunker, a windowless office space for people to make more stuff that might fail. Quote, the resort itself had 99 cabins, and most cabins had a family group of 4. So at capacity, a cruise would max out in the 300 to 400 guest range. For a good few months, we were lucky if we got above 200. One of the few unofficial policies we had at the ship was, quote, solve for yes, unquote. What this meant was, because the guests were paying so much for this experience, we had to find a way to get them what they wanted. We have had to drive to Universal to buy Harry Potter merchandise. I had 20 minutes to find a restaurant backstage and use their magic band to buy a specialty mug and bring it back before their taxi left. I don't think a lot of guests understood that we, as a concierge, had the power to completely manipulate their itinerary, communications, and reservations. And I have seen countless reviews of this place where they didn't get to do what they wanted at no fault of their own. Bell service was really fun, but very physically demanding at points. Because the guests would take a private shuttle into Hollywood Studios, all their luggage needed to be security screened. So once they checked in, we would tag it all, log how many items into our system, allow security to screen the items, pack it back onto a luggage cart, take it down a long hallway and into their cabin. We had 3 floors and 1 elevator that could fit the luggage carts. So if anyone ever wondered why they got to their room before their luggage, it could have been one of many things happening. Oh yeah, and they didn't let us accept tips, even though that was allowed at every other resort. It goes on to talk about the other nightmares of trying to run this thing, but it was a total disaster from top to bottom. And Lauren, that might explain why eventually they didn't go with a Luke Skywalker idea. They didn't go back to the original trilogy. I actually think it's far more than that caused Disney to abandon this idea. But there were at least all kinds of schematic issues and fundamental problems with trying to run such a thing. Lauren, I'll give you the final word on the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, now costing Disney more than $1 million per year just for sitting there.
Yeah, there were all kinds of failures that went into the planning of this thing. Not least was that they tried to do more with less. The initial plans for what the whole parks and experience was going to be was much more ambitious than what actually got built. So that didn't help things either. There were architectural concerns with the inside of the hotel. There were things that are typical of Star Wars language and design that you can't do in that kind of an experience because they'd be a safety hazard. It doesn't gel. It doesn't actually sell the experience that somebody wants if you think you're going to be in the Star Wars universe.
There you go. Folks, nobody's going to a Star Wars hotel because they closed it down. They closed it down because the sequel trilogy made you frown. And they have no interest in changing things up. So it's zip up time and pay the taxes on an abandoned vacant building turned into an Imagineering jail real soon. You know we must bid adieu for now, but folks, I encourage you, if you enjoyed this kind of video, well, we have plenty more and more on the way every single day. We do it for you. Check out the WDW Pro channel and go click on videos. You can see the most recent ones and enjoy all the stuff we're talking about and hopefully give us some feedback because we would love to cater what we're doing for you. You are the consumer. You are our valued guest. It's how entertainment companies once upon a time treated the people who bought their stuff, and we're still doing it here. Folks, on the way out the door, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, as we get ready to say goodbye, we always say this because we think you indeed are special and matter. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.